So 56 hours. 56 hours. That's where I am right now. The 56-hour fast, that moment, is more than metabolic. It can be a moment of misalignment. Your body is advancing, but your life is not built to match. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to explore this paradox, talking about how at this space, when we talk about what's going on in the body and the things that are happening in our minds, they're not failure, it's progress without maybe preparation. Hey, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living a limitless life. That's right. That's powered by the new us that we have created. If you're new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments, because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that I am glad that you're here. If you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat, because I want to help answer those as well. And make sure you put a Q with a colon in front of those, so that we will know that those are questions that we need to get to. As you know what we do here on the show, I've got my monitors off to the side that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. And then right below me, that is my Dexcom Clarity Report, which we will take a look at as we move through our episode tonight. If you have not already done so, I want to give a plug. And the plug is for a lot of things that are going on our channel. And the first one that I want to start with is our strength, strategy, and mindset. It is part of our MOVE campaign. Remember, metabolic optimization via exercise. And right now we are on day number 74 as we move through that series. And here you see me out in my workout area. We're doing some high knee marches. I've got some dumbbell presses that we do. Let's see, what else we got in there? We're doing some pelvic tilts as we move through the space. How do we access and how do we strengthen the core? That's what you see me doing there at the bottom. And then I've got some hammer curls that we're working on. And what else? What do we got? I'm on the floor at here. Oh, here we go. I'm doing some squats. Okay. And then, of course, we're doing some dead bugs, right? So we're doing lots of things, and the idea is to provide you with a space for you to be able to just plug in and apply the things that we're talking about in our Limitless Living Health Action Plan. So that is one of the things that's going on right now on the channel. The other thing that we had, and that is ongoing, we're not televising this, but we are also continuing our walk. Remember our 100-day walk to consistency. Once again, another part of our MOVE campaign, right? Metabolic optimization via exercise. Just because you're not seeing that doesn't mean that we're out of it. But metabolic optimization, a couple of components to that. One is the walking that we do, and two is the strength training that we do. These are all components of the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. And then, if you've not seen our pop-up lives that we do on a weekly basis, where we are talking about what's going on in the fasting, how do we fast successfully, you want to make sure that you get over there as well. This is our check-in from today. As we were in our office, that's my lobby of our practice where I see patients. And so I'm sitting there and just talking about what's going on with me as I got through the fast. And at that time, I was 48, maybe 49 hours into the fast. And then, of course, the other thing that I do on a weekly basis is when I start the fast, then I want to show you what I'm eating for my last meal as I end my eating window and get into the fast. And that was what we did this week. If you've not watched any of those, make sure you get back there and you see all of that. Now, I point this all out. I point this all out because there are lots of places where you can connect. There are lots of places where you can plug in, When you show up, lots of places where you can jump in and begin working. Now, people will ask me, they say, hey, if I wanted to start working through this process, where do you start? And I would say the first place to start is to start with joining us on our Dwain Woode MD Live. Because that flagship show, the concepts that we talk about there, sets the tone for the rest of the week. Right? The topic that we discuss, you will see that topic show back up in the fasting. You'll see that show up in the checkouts, the check-ins that we do, the pop-up lives. You'll see that show up as we do our review at the end of the week. So all of that is in keeping with what's going on the show on Monday. There are several playlists that are on the channel. So we have one, how to reverse diabetes, how to fast successfully, the domains of health, the limitless living health action plan. So those are all things you can go through and you begin looking, but join us on the show as we move through the process, and you will begin picking up those different things. Now, I want to say a special welcome to everyone from wherever you are, whether you are on LinkedIn or you're on Twitch or you're on Facebook or here on the show, here on YouTube. I welcome you. A special welcome to those of you who saw our content in some other spaces. Whether you are hanging out in Atlanta right now, up in Nashville, you're in Mississippi, you're in Birmingham, I'm glad if you are here with us and you've come to us from one of those spaces. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to you. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at my blood sugars. And for this, we're going to hop over and look at, this is my Freestyle Libre. And this is a Libre 3 Plus, I believe, that I have on. This is the new app, by the way. If you're used to seeing the app, the old one, this is the new one. And you see right there, that's my blood sugar. Right now, at this moment, it's 77. If you come down here a little bit and you'll see the graph. That graph, part of it is red, part of it is white. And the red part indicates that those blood sugars during that period, they were below 70. The white is right now right above 100, or right hovering a little bit above 100. This one is actually not 100, above 70. So this is 77. And you'll see a gap there right around, what was that, 3-ish, 330. And my sensor ended at that time, and so I put another one on, and it took about 60 minutes, as you know, for the freestyle to come up. And then let's go ahead and let's take a look at what my Dexcom Clarity is doing, and well, not Clarity, but Dexcom G7. And right there, you'll see, right about there, you'll see once again that's my blood sugar right now according to the Dexcom. And then scrolling down, right here is the graph for what my blood sugar is or has been. If I put my finger on that, you can see over the last 24 hours, this is what's been going on. And we're 80s, 90s. We spiked up there. This is my toothpaste effect, by the way. It was spiked up there to I think 115 was the highest that I got. Okay, so yeah, near 115. I think I saw 114. And then started coming back down, just right about here. Started coming back down, 80s, 90s, down, and I saw a 70 in there. There we go, 79. And then of course now where we are as we're on the show. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at what my monitors are saying. And here I have my Keto Mojo and I have my Contour. Let's go ahead and get a strip out for the ketones. Strip out for the Contour. That's what this one is. Let's put this one back in there. There we go. And let's pull out our container. And here is a blue for the ketones. And then here is a brown one for blood sugar. And then of course I need a lancet. So I'm going to get that back over here. And go ahead and put this into that guy. And go ahead and open this. All right, so this, let me go back over here. So this is the one that usually gives me usually gives me the trouble. Actually, the other one is usually easier. So let me go ahead and pull that up. And I like to open them both because if I don't, then I end up having a dried drop of blood. All right, so let's go ahead. That's out. So Contour, Keto Mojo. And here's my Lancet, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And get a finger. And let's do this right here. And boom, ow. That hurt. All right, so we got a good brisk drop of blood. Get that started, and then boom. Okay, so 70. Let's see, 73 for the Keto Mojo, 68 for the Contour, and then right there you'll see that the Dexcom says I'm 81. And while I'm doing that, let me go ahead and make sure I keep this drop of blood going, because I'll need that. And then I'm going to take this one out, get the ketone strip in. And what do you think at 56 hours, what do you think my ketones are going to be? What do you think my ketones are going to be? And I'm going to get that started. There we go. All right, so ketones, 56 hours of fasting. And drum roll, please. And 3, 2, and 1. And so ketones 1.3. 1.3 is what it is at 56 hours. Let's go ahead and I'm going to pull up my Keto Mojo app and go ahead and see if we can get that synced up so that we can pull that in here, so we can take a look at not just the ketones, but we can look at the graph and talk about that here. So sync is completed, and let's go ahead and let's pull this up. Let's see, let's do that. Okay, so all right, so here's the blood sugar at 73, and then 1.3 is the ketone right there. So a couple of points that I want to make is if we go backwards and take a look at this number, and actually let me pull this one up. If we take a look at this number where the top number right in here, you'll see that blood sugar is 88. And when blood sugar is 88, then my ketones are 0.2. And this is what we got when we did this on our show on Monday. And as the blood sugars dropped from 88 down to what it is now, 73, you see the ketones correspondingly went from 0.2 to where it is right now at 1.3. What is it? 1.3. Yeah, there we go. One of those. 1.3. Let me pull that out a little bit and see if I can get my finger on there too. Yeah, there we go. 1.3. And so remember that ketones that are less than 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 are considered nutritional ketosis, and then above 1.5 considered therapeutic ketosis. And right now, I'm in the nutritional ketosis range. Whenever we are talking about fasting, ketogenic diets, anybody who's doing a ketogenic or fasting mimicking diet, then those are the numbers we want. We want numbers that are above 0.5, because that means that the body is then burning fat. Come back tomorrow as we do Friday, as we do our complete review of fasting, and we'll kind of walk through that just a little bit more, so you understand what's going on in the body during these times. If I go back here and look at the actual readings, you'll see there 7.3 and 1.3, and then you'll see a big number. That number is called the glucose ketone index, and it is a ratio of the glucose to ketones. Now, if you divide 73 to 1 by 1.3, you'll say, wait a minute, that's not 3.1. But let me go ahead and pull up my calculator. So 73 and 1.3. And that is a calculated number, right? So 73 divided by 18, so we're converting it to international, and then divide that by 1.3, and that gives us the 3.1 that you see on the in the middle of that Keto Mojo app. Okay, And so what we want is we want ketones to be as high as possible, that blue. We want glucose to be as low as possible, that's the brown. And then we want the GKI to be as low as possible as well. Okay, so if you remember when we did this, well, actually, let's go back and let's see. Yeah, here we are. This was when we looked at this on the show. Our GKI was 24 because the glucose was 83, ketones were 0.2, and that equates to a 24. And so we want GKI to be low, glucose to be low, ketones to be high. That's the idea behind that. And then now let's go ahead and take a look at my report. And you'll see that this is for 14 days. And for the last 14 days, my average blood sugar has been 113. And we usually tell patients that we want their average blood sugar to be between 100 and 120. And so that's right in keeping with what we talk about. My glucose management indicator is 6.0. So if I were to get an A1C based on the blood sugars that I've had for the last 14 days, my A1C should approximate 6.0. Now, it is a calculated number, so I can't call it an A1C, but that's what I would expect it to be, at least close to that. And I'm in target 99% of the time, with my target being between 70 and 180. One point that I want to make here is that 70, 180 is a range that we had to pick something. All right, where do we want blood sugars to be on the monitor? Well, 70 is considered normal. Below 70 is low, so 70 is the bottom. And then on the top side, we had to pick something. Now remember, normal blood sugars for non-diabetic, for everybody on the planet, a normal blood sugar is between 70 and 99. When we get above 99, so 100 to 125 is considered pre-diabetic, and then 126 and above is considered diabetic. So we want blood sugars that are actually between 70 to 99. The reason we've given the upper range there from 99 up to 180, it's a safety issue. If you're on medication, right, we don't want blood sugars to be lower than 70 because the medication doesn't know you're lower than 70, and it keeps trying to push that blood sugar down. And then on the high side, we have to pick something. Well, where do we want people to start doing something? Well, way before that, but 180. And so I tell patients I want their blood sugars to be between 100 and 120 is our target. Talk to your healthcare provider, and they can share with you what they want your blood sugars to be. So if I look at this for 90 days, all right, so 90 days, you'll see that my average blood sugar is 116, so just a little higher. And my glucose keto index is 6.1. And I'm in target 98% of the time, target being the same between 70 and 180. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual graphs for each of the days. And so here I am right now, right? Blood sugars of, 88 was what it was. Was it 88? Let's see, let me go. No, yeah. Yes, 88. No, it was not 88. Let's go back and let's see. Let's get, where were we? It was 70 some. For some reason, I can't get my Keto Mojo to come up. Okay. But we're, okay, here it is. Yeah. So 73. Right. So 73 is what my blood sugar is. Was it a little while ago? But here's where we are. Right. So at this time. And if we look back over the course of the last 24 hours, you'll see that we've been running in the 80s, 90s, low 100s. And right down here, this is my toothpaste effect. You'll see that we were in the low 90s, and then we spiked up. I think the highest we got was a 115. Yeah, right there. And so now scrolling backwards into the day before, right, we're still in the 90s, 80s, 90s, 80s, spiked up to about 100 there. I saw 80s and 90s, 80s and 90s. Here's my toothpaste effect once again. So we came into the morning with 90s, and right about 6 o'clock, 6:30, we started climbing up to the 117s. I think we got up, was it 123 I see? Yeah, 123 is probably the highest that we got. And then scrolling backwards again, right? So we're still fasting. And this was the day that we started the fast. We were in the 100s. Now let's look a little more closely at this. So I started the fast right about here. Blood sugar is 112. And based on what I if you didn't see that, go back and watch that episode from earlier this week. So I ate, and look at the blood sugars. So we're in the one teens. So we got up to 121, 125, right? And then started dropping again. So when we're talking about that last meal prior to the fast, we want that meal not to cause a big change or big spike in blood sugar, because if it does, then it causes insulin to come out, and when insulin shows up, insulin will cause ketones to go away, or it delays your entry into ketosis. So that's what's been going on blood sugar wise as we moved through our fasting this week. Let's go ahead. I see some of our community members out there. Let's go ahead and say hello to you. I see Gion. I think I saw you there. And yes. So Gion says, hi, Doctor and LLG. Good evening. She says, show up in the live is great. That is a great start. Jennifer, howdy. Jennifer, I did see your messages on one of the, I forgot which episode, where you say you were back. So glad that you are back. She says she's home from vacation, so glad that you are here and back in the space with us. Gion is saying, hi, Jennifer. Did you have fun on vacation? Sounds great from your vacation. Gion was guessing 0.7, and you saw Gion, we were 1.3. Jennifer said, yes, 20-some family members went to Branson, Missouri, took 4 grandkids. All right, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Remember we talk about balance, right? So there it is, balance. Balance means that we're taking care of not just our physical health, our emotional health, but we're also making connections with the folks around us. Gion says, oh, great ketone number. Great, Jennifer. She said, wow, 20 family members, amazing. Jennifer says, getting all going in the same direction was like herding cats. Yeah, I know what that is. She says, Doctor, did you last meal was a ketogenic diet? Well, if you go back and you take a look at that, that was a balanced bites. Wow. And Jennifer, Gion says, Jennifer. And Steve, hey, Steve, what's going on, man? Hello. And Gion saying hello to Steve. So glad that you guys are all in the space with us as we continue in our fast. Awesome. And so let's go ahead and let's get over to our conversation, and let's hop over there right now. And so our conversation, here we are 56 hours into this week's fast. And it is really an interesting place. Most people think, when they think about fasting, is that when you end the fast, the end of the fast is the finish line. Well, I'm going to get to 56 hours. I'm going to get, in my case, to 72 hours. I'm going to get to my 24 hours. But biologically, it's where the work actually really begins. I want you to, I've seen, and you may see this on social media somewhere, where there's a runner, and the runner is going down the track, and they think that the race is over, and so they start looking around, or they may even stop, or they slow down, and somebody else comes and passes them. Right? But that's what happens sometimes, is where we think we've gotten past, we've reached the end, we've gotten to the end, and the fasting is done. But at 56 hours, and whenever you're in your fast, it can be an interesting space. Your prefrontal cortex drops the threat detection, right? So it says, hey, I am now doing a good job. So we're not in anxiety anymore. We are in the space where we feel safe. Emotions come up because right now we don't have the food to buffer. So it unmasks for us those places where we normally would eat, right? So that place where we feel a little anxious, or that conversation, or that the boredom, or whatever it is. And so when we're fasting, those things, we start to realize, hey, look at this. I usually eat right here. And at this time, you've reached your peak ketone clarity. Not depletion, but ketones are going up. You saw that as we did our check-in earlier, that my ketones 1.3. So the fast is revealing where you self-limit. What do I mean by that? The fast is revealing those places where sometimes we don't push farther because we're like, okay, yeah, I'm done. So this fast is not about breaking you. It's about breaking open the blueprint that we've been talking about. So when we fast, we get to see in real time what our schedules look like, where we buffer, where stresses cause us to do things that we would not normally do in terms of our eating, where our boredom pushes us, where routine pushes us. We talk about the habits, emotions, access, and taste, right? So those are the triggers that push us to eat. Habits, emotions, access, and taste. And those are really some of the things that come to the surface as we are fasting. You begin to see where do I normally just eat just because it's what we do. What is the emotion that pushes my button that gets me to do this thing? What are the things that are just around me and I eat just because it's there? Or what are those things that bring back memories to me that push me in a direction that want to make me comfort myself? This is where this is happening. And it's not to break you. It's really to open up your eyes and help you to begin saying, okay, what is a blueprint that I have to put in place for my success? The other thing is biology is being compared to belief. At this point, your cells are ready. Your mitochondria are humming. They are there, right? We've done autophagy is in full bloom, and the mitochondria levels have increased. Growth hormone has come out. Cortisol levels have now gone down when they were initially elevated. Your insulin is low. Your body is poised for this space to be the place where it takes off. But the question is, your life, is it ready? You may be still living in the past, living in the person that you used to be, living with the ideas that you used to have. Insulin is down, inflammation is down, ketones are up, beta hydroxybutyrate has come out, BDNF is pouring into your brain, but your mindset trap may still remain. Oh, I can't do this again. Oh, this isn't practical. This isn't who I am. Everybody has to eat, don't they? I can't go for 24 hours without eating. I'm going to starve to death. Biology no longer stops us at this point. Because biology is, you've already proven that you didn't starve to death. It can be done. Now, it is the story that we tell ourselves that inhibits or hinders or helps us move in a direction that sets us up for success. Your nervous system is providing some quiet resistance. So here's the secret. Your brain doesn't want to transform. It wants familiarity. It wants routine. We talked in our show on Monday about installing a new operating system within us. By default, there's already a system in place. It is a system that you've been working on. When things happen, you fall back to the system that you already know. It's the one you've been cultivating for years. It's the place that you find yourself when you tell yourself, I'm not going to, but you end up anyway. Because it's familiar. The amygdala, remember that's the survival part of our brain. The limbic system It triggers discomfort without food cues. It says, oh, the food's not there, so something is going on. I have to have some food. I can't go all this time. So it begins triggering all of that. And when it triggers it, then we become uncomfortable. The default mode, the default network wants to repeat what's known. What you normally do, that's what it wants to do. And so what we want to do is we want to break that process. We want to break the process with some gentle interactions, some gentle interventions, some gentle things that we can do. When we have learned, and one of the things that we talked about is the COPE model. Remember the COPE model? We clarify, we observe, we pause, and we execute. When things come at us, when things come to us, not just in fasting, but in our everyday life, what are the tools that we have in place that will help us move in the direction of being successful? Let's pause from fasting for a minute. And let's talk about your life in general. When an issue shows up, a difficult conversation, a project that you've got that you've been postponing, that you are procrastinating on, a decision that you have to make that seems to be a huge decision in your mind, a difficult space. Hey, we don't have enough money for this. Or, hey, I'm working on this degree and I've got this class I've got to do and the class is requiring X. Or someone in the family is ill that I've got to deal with, right? That's real world. That's real life. That's where the rubber meets the road. And the question is, do we have some things in place that we've put in place way before this issue showed up that we can then turn to? Because if we have, like breath work, when we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. What we're doing is we are breathing in oxygen. We're breathing in life-giving energy. We are breathing out carbon dioxide. And just the process of breathing, expanding those lungs, and then recoiling those lungs to push out the oxygen, that alone causes some vagal tone. Vagal tone, that's kind of like you've probably seen on, I don't know, any of the sci-fi shows or any of those other shows where something's going on, somebody's getting anxious and they put their hands and they begin massaging. That's producing vagal tone and it causes calmness. The same thing happens when we breathe. The other thing is introducing some simple statements that help you to realign with who you are. That says to the frontal cortex, no, this is not, that other thing is not what we do. They anchor us in our identity. I'm not just someone who fasts. I'm someone who creates space. I'm not someone who's just doing this because they said to do it on the show. I'm someone who's generally interested in my health. And I am now in the process of reversing my diabetes, reversing my high blood pressure, improving my health, lowering my weight, decreasing my chances of coronary artery disease. I'm making the decision to do that. That's who I am. When your prefrontal cortex hears that, when your brain hears that, the brain begins to incorporate that into its psyche. And the things that we tell the brain, oh, come on now. The things that we tell the brain become so powerful that we can convince ourselves. We can convince ourselves of lots of things. What we've done so far is we've allowed our inner critic to convince us of things that we don't want. Now, let's go ahead and let's use our inner coach and reverse that process. Let's use it for good. Right? They say you can use your superpowers for evil or for good. Let's use that superpower of allowing ourselves to visualize something. When we visualize things, our brain, our body, it behaves as though that thing is real. When we did our strength, our 100-day walk to consistency, as we were going through that series, one of the points that I was making is that when you are visualizing, when you're imagining, I don't want you to just imagine, oh, I'm going on vacation. I want you to Imagine, what is it like to make the plans for the vacation? Where am I going? How many people are going? It's a family function. Maybe I got 20 people or more people going with me. What does that look like? How are we going to get there? What am I taking with me? What are the smells? What does this smell like? What does it feel like? What is the air like? Is it cold? Is it warm? How am I going to get there? Am I driving? Am I flying? I want you to put so much into this thing that your body says, okay, I'm there. So when we talk about fasting, we want to imagine that. And we want to begin giving our prefrontal cortex those words. I'm not just someone who fasts. I'm someone who cares for my body. I'm somebody who creates space for my body. Progress without a plan is just delay. The danger isn't failure. Come on. I want to say that. The danger is not failure. The danger is really success without support and success without a plan. Because if you have success without a plan, then there's no way to sustain it. And your brain and your body begin saying, oh, that does not work. Yeah, I lost some weight, but it didn't last. Well, why didn't it last? Because there was not a plan. What happens after you lose weight? Oh, my blood sugars got better. My A1C was great last week when I go into the doctor. But look at this. My blood sugars are up again. Why? Because there's not a plan. Hey, look at that. Last year, I did this thing and I improved my metabolic outlook. My body got better. I went through all this stuff, but look at it now. I guess that doesn't work. Why? Because there's not support and because there's not a plan. Your body is screaming for consistency, but your environment reflects chaos. You don't need willpower to finish your fast. You need architecture to hold the results. You don't need more vision. You don't need more drive. You need a system that helps keep this there. This is why I teach structure. When we did structure and planning as the last pillar of the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, this is why that's there. Not to make life rigid, but to make your health durable. What is fascinating to me sometimes is that we have plans for everything. If you have people who take care of your lawn, we've got a plan. Okay, they come on such and such a day and we pay them on such and such a day. You have a car. I've got a plan to take my car to the shop to get the oil change on this particular routine. You change the filters at your house. You should, by the way, change the filters at your house on a routine. There's a plan. We're going to make dinner. What am I going to make? I'm making X, Y, and Z. Okay, what's the plan? I've got to get this. I'm going to go to the grocery store. We have a plan. You're going to get a degree. If I follow this, I get the degree. There's a plan. We're working on retirement. How are we going to get this money when we retire? Well, there's a plan for us to save the money. We have a plan. But when it comes to our health, we shoot from the hips. Oh, it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay because there's not a plan. We don't rise to the level of our vision. We fall to the level of our systems and our plan. Your ability to keep going isn't about hunger. It's about rhythm, it's about alignment, and it's about structure. RAS, rhythm, alignment, and structure. The rhythm is, what is the thing that drives me? What do I really want? Where am I really going? What is the bent of my life? What's my North Star statement? What's my purpose? When I talk to people in the office, when they come in, one of their purposes is controlling blood sugar, is what they say. But I asked them, why do you want to control blood sugar? Well, I want to control blood sugar because I want to feel better. And I don't want complications. Well, why do you want to feel better? And why do you not want complications? Well, because I'd like to be around. I'd like to be alive. Well, why do you want to be alive? Why do you want to be around? Well, my daughter just had a baby. Or I have a grandson. Or I have a whatever number of things there are. And the deeper you go, you begin to uncover the rhythm, the thing that is the purpose. Rhythm. Then the question is, are my behaviors aligned with my rhythm? The thing that I say I want. Are the things I do, my decisions, my choices, my consistency, is it aligned? Is it taking me in the direction of the rhythm? Rhythm, alignment, and then structure. Do I have a set of blueprints that I can follow? Do I have a set of guardrails that keep me on course? Do I have a set of checklists that make sure that I get to my destination properly? And do I have a set of protective devices that say to me that I'm not here to constrain you? I'm not here to push you into a pen. I'm not here to take away your joy. I'm here to keep you safe. Your ability to keep going is about rhythm, alignment, and structure. It's about the resilience that comes from knowing that I have something that is taking me in that direction. When I remember when I started saving. But coming out of college, saving was not on my mind, by the way. As a matter of fact, I wanted to spend everything. But I remember when I started saving, and I would show up, right? Because at first I was like, oh man, I don't want to put that money away because I need to spend this. I want to buy this thing. I want to do this other thing. But I remember showing up and sitting down with the accountant and looking at what was being saved. And all of a sudden there was this joy, there was this pride, there was like, oh, this relief, because the structure that I didn't want, that if I had my choice, would not have followed, had done the job of taking me to a place that I would not have gone without structure. Why do I have to put that away? Why do that have to come out of my check? Why does that have to go into that account? Why is it going on? I'll do it myself. Yeah, I'll go when I get my check and I'll put it in that account. No. I'm taking it out before you even see it. Before you even get to it, I'm taking it out. That's called structure. So what rhythms are we missing in our lives? And specifically here, what rhythms are we missing, or what rhythms are we not seeing that we've put in place when we're not eating? Because when we're not eating, right, we don't have the food to buffer the behavior, or buffer the feeling, or buffer the procrastination, or buffer the boredom, or buffer the anxiety, or buffer the depression. We don't have the food anymore. So what structure is in place now? Because it reveals it, that you know what, really, you don't really have a thing to manage that. What's the fast revealing about the limits we've placed on ourselves? Well, I fasted 56 hours right now. Well, man, I didn't think I could do 24. I remember when we started doing the 100-day walk to consistency, right? There were people who said, man, we're doing 100 days? I don't even know if I could do a week. And then they did a week. And then they did 2 weeks and 3 weeks and 4 weeks and 5 weeks. And 100 days later, oh my goodness, look at this. I did 100 days. And then we added to that 9 additional days for the Bridge to Mastery. 109 days. We're doing the strength, strategy, and mindset right now. When we started, there were people who didn't think they could go through a routine who have never done a routine, who thought they could not exercise, they couldn't do strength training. And here we are 75 days into that process. And people are doing squats. They're doing dumbbell curls. They're doing arm lifts. They're doing dead bugs. They're doing squats. What limits have you placed on yourself in your metabolism because you said, well, I can't do that? If your body's ready, who do you need to become to say, I'm ready too? Let's do it. What things do we need to put in place? What mindset change do we have to have? Now, here's one. This is one that I think is one of the most powerful ones. Let me say that. It is the concept of the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. The fixed mindset comes from that inner critic often, because the fixed mindset says what you have is all that there is. The way you've been doing things is the way it is. You don't have the ability to get better. You don't have the ability to learn. You don't have the capacity to move beyond where you are. That's the fixed mindset. But the growth mindset says, I have unlimited potential. Anything I can fix my mind on, anything that I can envision, anything I can put structure to, I can achieve. If I don't like my job, I can get a different job. If I don't have the qualifications, I can go get the qualifications. If I don't have the money, I can begin saving the money. If I've never fasted for 16 hours, I can start with 2 hours, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, until I am where I need to be. The growth mindset says I can do that. This is the point where most people either fall back or they lean in. Because your biology at this point is ready. All the hormones are in alignment. Cortisol is down. Insulin is down. Growth hormone is up. Beta hydroxybutyrate is up. BDNF is up. Your muscles are poised to burn sugar without the use of insulin. The ketones are suppressing your appetite. There's no longer a push from the body to make you eat. So the question is, where is it coming from? The desire to not continue. The thing that says, I can't go any further. The mind voice that says, you've done enough. 56 hours is okay. 24 hours is okay. Yeah, we'll do that again next week. Biology alone won't carry you. Biology alone is not designed for that. Biology wants to take you back to what's familiar. The amygdala says, this is uncomfortable for us. We don't like it here. Let's go back to our default. We remember what that chocolate tastes like, the Cadbury's. We remember what the cookie tastes like. We remember what the pasta and the Ben & Jerry's ice cream. We remember what that tastes like. So let's go back there. We can do that. But that's not what we need. What we need is a system that says, hey, we're holding the course. We're not even letting you see the money we're taking out before. We're not even letting you go through the process of handling it. We're dealing with it for you. Biology leads to belief, But belief and biology alone need a blueprint. And the blueprint is what takes us there if we install the right system within our bodies. We continue to walk through this path. We continue to walk down this path. We've got the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. We've got the strength, strategy, and mindset that's going on. We've got the 100-day walk to consistency. We do our weekly check-ins as we are fasting, where we show you what we eat to end our eating window and begin the fast, and we show you what to eat as we end the fast and begin our eating window. We are here every Monday, 7 p.m. Central for Dwain Woode MD Live. We've got our community that's building, community that's growing. We've got our Limitless Living Health Series that's out now in some of the churches and some of the other areas in other states. We've got all of those things, and they are part of the process. You just now have to plug in. And you have to say, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. A couple of months ago, I did a talk, and you've probably heard the story. If you're not, here it is. I went whitewater rafting with the family, and so we're going down the rapids, right? And as I was listening to the safety to the safety talk and the videos, and of course they made you sign that paper that says, if anything happens, you're not responsible. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this thing and watching the video, and I'm looking around the room, and I thought to myself, what are the chances that of all these people in the room, that you would be the one that falls out of the raft? Never ask yourself that question. Because as it would happen, we're going down the rapids, and we made it through one of the rapids, and we came back around, and they say, okay, this one's going to be a little bit bigger. And the guy who's on the raft with us, who's the guide, he says, hey, we're approaching an area, and there's a whirlpool. And right beyond the whirlpool, there's a rock, there's an incline. And in order for us to escape the whirlpool, when we get there, I'm going to tell you to dig in and row and row and row and pull and pull. And in order for us to avoid the whirlpool, we've got to pull past the whirlpool, get over the rock so we can get down to the other side and go down the rapids. That's what he said. And so I'm there, and I'm on the raft, and I'm ready. And everybody else, apparently, I thought they were ready too. And we got by the whirlpool, and we started going around. And as we were heading to the other side, he started yelling, pull, 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 row. And we're rowing like crazy. And we got up to the top, almost going over. And we got right there. And as it would happen, one of the people in the front lost their oar. And because they weren't pulling, right? Because everybody has to be pulling. And so the raft came back down this way. And as it came down, it leaned up like this, y'all. And guess which part I'm sitting on? I'm sitting in the back on the part that's going down. And boom, I'm out. And instinctively, I grabbed on to the perimeter rope that's going around this thing. And what they didn't tell me, and I need to write them and say, add this into the video. If you grab the front of the raft, because the raft is moving faster than you, the raft now comes on top of you. So I'm holding on like this, and I can't breathe. And we're going in this whirlpool. And I've got my life jacket on, and the rocks are down there. I'm getting hit. But I would not let go. Because they told me to grab on, and I thought that was the thing that was going to save me. And I'm not letting go. And the more I held on, the more my lungs started to burn. Because there's no air under the raft. All there is water. And as I'm processing this thing, I'm under there, and this stuff, it's almost like it slowed down, right? That they say when things happen, it slows down. I'm having all these conversations in my head. And I hear myself say to me, hey, there's no air under here. We don't know where the rapids are going to take us, but we can't stay here. And that's where we find ourselves sometimes. We don't know. We feel like we don't know. We feel like there's nothing else. But we understand. We see our bodies. We see the complications. We see the weight climbing up. We see the blood sugars out of control. Every time we go to the doctor, they're adding another medication. And this time you have high blood pressure. That time you have high cholesterol. That time you're pre-diabetic. Now your blood sugar's out of control. Now you're diabetic. And we know we can't stay here. And if we're going to get to the space where we want to be, where we are dealing with our metabolism, we've got to install those systems. And here on the channel, I educate, I empower, I encourage. That's what we do. The systems are here. The systems are here. We've been walking through the path. And the systems are here. Do you have now the intention of letting go of what you've been doing? Letting go of the operating system that was there, the default, and saying, hey, I'm installing a new operating system. I'm installing a new version. That's why it says limitless living powered by the new you. It's powered by the new us, not the old one, not the fixed mindset, not the inner critic, but the new version of ourselves. And what we don't want to have is we don't want to have some success without a plan in place that takes us over the long haul. We continue to talk. We continue to rise. We continue to do things that we need to do. We continue to say, hey, we're going into a space that will help us to move into success. And when we do that, we have to have something that takes us in that direction and keeps us maintained. And so as we've been walking through this process, we've been talking about Limitless Living Health Action Plan. We will talk to you about the Limitless Living Health Accelerator or Accelerator, because that is what we want you to put in place as you are continuing now to work to be successful when it comes to your metabolism. If we're going to be successful, you got to have a system. The default system that you're using right now, is not the one. We want to install one that's working for us, and that comes as we make choices for ourselves. Here on the channel, we educate, we empower, and we encourage. We encourage you to do the things that you need to do to be successful so that you can improve your metabolic health. So join us, continue joining us as we walk through the space so that you can do the things that you have to do. And that is, after all, what Limitless Living says. It says that we're not allowing anything to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best selves, we're showing up with our best health, and we're showing up with our best plans for our lives. That is Limitless Living. And that is what the benefits are. So we'll be back. Stay tuned. All right. And you guys hear me say all the time that is one of my favorite conversations, but it is. Keep an eye out, the Limitless Living Accelerator. We'll talk more about that as we move throughout the space on Monday. Come on back, and we will talk about how do we install that in our lives. How do we install that as the thing that helps get us where we need to be, the new operating system that's going to be functioning within us. As I said, we educate, we empower, and we encourage. That is how we do things. When you hear me talking, all of my thoughts are filtered through education, empowerment, and encouragement. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcasts. We empower with the tools that we learn, and we encourage with the community that you are part of. An amazing community that's growing and building. But when I'm talking to you, when you talk to me, I'm looking to see three things. I'm looking to see rhythm, alignment, and structure. Rhythm, alignment, and structure. And so as we move throughout our space, as we move throughout the rest of this week, we'll be doing our check-ins, we'll be doing our show. We're out of schedule this week. As you know, I started my fast on Monday because we've got some scheduling things coming on the rest of this week. So we started our fast on Monday, which is why I'm at 56 hours tonight. Usually I'm at 33 hours, but we're at 56 hours tonight. We will break that fast tomorrow probably doing it at the pop-up. And then we'll come back and we'll talk more as we get through the rest of the week. And then, of course, our full review of fasting on Friday. On Saturday night, we'll have the video from the vault at 9 p.m. Central. On Sunday morning, This Week in Review. And we continue to work on our strength, strategy, and mindset as we go through. If you've been following us in that series, you're going to see some changes over the next couple of days as our schedule changes, but pay attention to that because it is still something that we are doing. It's something that is part of our MOVE campaign, metabolic optimization via exercise. Make sure that you join us as we walk through that space. I'm always excited when you're here. I'm always glad when you're here. I do see some of our community members, so let's go ahead and let's say hi. Let's see. We said hi to Steve. Boy, she says hi everyone. Gian says hi to Boy. Boy says hi to Gian and back. Boy, my girl vacation start. So Gian is saying that her, I think you're saying your daughter's vacation has started, or starting soon. Boy says, hope she's good for you and let you rest. Definitely. I hope so, but you know the drill. And Boy says, I'm not, let's see, what she says. Okay, yeah, I'm not ready for that, but I will try. Boy says, yeah, I know mother's work never ends. Gian says mother's work. Sometimes I imagine, am I going to miss mother work when kids grow up? I think I might miss it. Thank you, Doctor from Gian. Jennifer says time goes fast. Mine has grown, but they gifted me with 10 grandkids. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's amazing. And Gian says, amazing, amazing. Love it, love it, love it. As I always say, I'm happy when I'm here with you and happy to see the benefits and the growth that you're having. Welcome to those of you who are joining us from other parts of the country and those of you who continue to chime in. Three things. Number one, our plan, the Health Action Plan, has the word action. It means that you need to infuse it with your power. Your behavior is what drives it. That's why it says powered by the new you. Limitless living, but powered by the new you. Your behavior, your choices, your decisions, your consistency is what powers it. That's number one. Limitless living, just like we said, we educate, we empower, we encourage. That encouragement is from community. That means that when you get benefit, when you see changes in yourself, your weight's gone down, your blood sugar's better, your A1C's gone down, you're off medications, your fatty liver's improved, all those benefits that you're seeing and all the other things, then you have to say to the community around you, hey, I know how we can do this. I know a way for us to get better. We don't have to keep having heart attacks. We don't have to keep losing limbs. We don't have to keep going blind. We don't have to keep walking down the path of medication. We can reverse it. We can improve it. You're the ambassador for your area, for your group. So when you come, show up, tell your story, but share it with everybody else to let them know, hey, we don't have to keep being one of those 1 billion people on the planet, over 1 billion, that are suffering from those metabolic diseases. And then come back and join us as we move through the space. People will ask you, hey, if I wanted to do this, how do I do it? Tell them to show up on the show. Dwain Woode MD Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central on Mondays. Hey, what can I look at? What can I read? What shows should I look at? We've got how to reverse diabetes, how to fast successfully, the domains of health, the limitless living health action plan. We've got the 100-day walk to consistency. So there are so many places for people who are interested in jumping in based on their what their likes are, right? Where they want to start, they can start there. But show up on the show. The show sets the tone for the rest of the week. The concepts that we talk about, the discussions we have on Monday are what we intertwine into all of the shows for the rest of the week. And so that's a place to start. But show up, come on back. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. And we are living limitless lives, which says that we are doing everything we need to do. We're not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best selves, our best health, and our best plans. So go live a limitless life, and we'll see you in our shows. We'll see you in our community space. We'll see you as we move down the path of becoming limitless living apostles, followers, and of course, in this space, the Limitless Living Gang. Good night, everybody.